Good morning, guys. With Martin this morning, but I wanted to come out in the right atmosphere in the woodland, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips on woodland photography, but I've also challenging myself as well, because I've been sent this new lens by TTartisan, and it's a 21mm f1.2 prime lens, manual lens. And I'm thinking this is going to be a challenge to get some nice photography in a woodland with a 21mm. Normally I would use my big beast normal photography, anything from 24mm up to 150, 200mm or even more, but I would say on average my shots in a woodland would be around the 70 to 100mm mark. That's on average. So the first tip when you're coming into a woodland would be, for me, is if you're going to be choosing that lens, then your compositions are further into the woods, especially when it's misty and foggy, because with a longer lens you'll capture more of that atmosphere, and that's one of the reasons why I use a long lens, and it can give you a lot better separation. And because you're using a longer lens, you can simplify images. So if I was using this, I'd be looking a lot further into the woods, 50, 100 yards away into the woodlands, to actually get a shot. So therefore this is going to be a challenge, because it's a 21mm, something I wouldn't normally shoot. So let's see if we can get a shot. Now with this, what I'm thinking about is foreground, with the atmosphere of the woodland in the background. So I've come to this old dead tree, this part of the woodland that I quite like. We'll get the light coming in, so there's another tip. Go to the woodland where the light can actually penetrate it. If the woodland's too dark, it's very, very difficult. The only time I would go into a dark woodland is when it's too bright out in the open. So you can find the darker areas and can try and control that light as best you can. But this morning we've got fog, mist, atmosphere. It's beautifully calm, beautifully still. So I can take a long exposure shot without any movement, nothing moving whatsoever. So let's see if we can set up a shot with this and see if we can get an image, and then we'll have a look at the image and see if it's any good. See what this bad boy's like. One thing I would say is this feels as heavy as that. It's a lump, it's a right lump, and I think I would like to try and use it in street and something like that, but it's an heavy lump. Don't actually know the weight of it, but they feel the same weight. It does come with a screw thread lens cap, which is quite nice. And then this is obviously, because this is threaded, you could put a filter on there, which is quite handy. That obviously screws off, and you can put a normal lens cap on as well. So I quite like that. So I've thought about that, where you can incorporate a filter for it, which is really good. But it's all about the performance. Let's try it. What I'll do is I'll take this shot, or I'll compose an image, and we'll do it at different f-stops, different apertures, and see what the actual image is like. And then I'll go back to the office and we'll do some edit. I'll go through the edits, but we'll also have a look at some images as well, and how soft they are, or not soft, sharp, how actually good they are. I've got the composition set up. My composition is this twisted fallen tree that I know has been here for quite a while, for some years, and I'm trying to incorporate the twists of the tree and the branches that are dead, that are on it, as a leading line, leading you into the forest behind. So I focused on the branch here, and I'm on f8, which is giving me a fourth of a second with ISO 500. So I will take that shot as it is. We'll grab that. I'm going to do the same composition. I'm going to take one at the extremes of the lens, so f1.5 and f16 it goes to. My camera's here with 2 meters from the main root of the tree, just to give you an idea of the focal length that I'm focusing on with this scene. The scene's quite nice actually, I quite like the shot. So let's grab that, and then what we'll do is we'll get back to the office and just have a look. I'll probably shoot it at f11 as well, and probably another different apertures. We'll just check the focus, and then I'll go through the apertures and change that without changing the focal distance, but I'll check it every now and again, and then we'll compare images. I've digitally zoomed in on that area, focused, so it's as sharp as it possibly can be. I'll just come back out with a focus. So I've focused on this area here, which I think is the main detail of the shot. I've took the shot. So that bit should be in focus at f1.5. Then what I'm going to do is we'll just adjust the aperture. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it at f4. So all we've got to do is adjust the shutter speed, get the exposure correct, somewhere there, grab that shot. We shouldn't need to change the focus because we've still focused on that main part of the subject. Then we'll just ramp up the aperture. I'm going to go f8 now. So f8, again, adjust the exposure. So every time I'm adjusting the exposure, the exposure is getting slower and slower, so I'm a third of a second now. Grab another shot. Again, we'll do f11, then f16. I've got another composition, obviously shooting with a 24mm, so it's a challenge, so I'm trying to think outside the box. Now when I was walking around, I love the top canopy of these trees here. I think they're oaks, yeah, I think they're oaks. And I love that canopy, so I'm thinking I want to try and catch that, but I've got the wide angle on, so I've gone down low, and that's why you've had that point of view. So we're looking at this canopy all around us and above us. So I'm trying to get a composition here. So I've got a strong tree on the left hand side, a strong tree on the right hand side, that's framing this image, and we've got distortion of the trees coming in a little bit, but the trees are bent and gnarly and what have you, so it's not that bad actually. And I've just got a slither, absolute slither of the forest floor, and I'm tempted. I might crop it out or go really tight to the bottom, I'm not sure, but it's the canopy that's interesting. Totally different shot, totally different point of view, and it's getting the creative juices flowing by using this 21mm TTartisan lens. Let's just hope that the images are up to a standard where we can use it a lot more, because I'm actually really enjoying this focal length. Fantastic. Obviously when you're shooting up into the canopy, you've got a lot of highlights. Now again, we got atmosphere this morning, so I'm not too bothered. You know what, I've done it before where I've just blown it out and made it look atmospheric, and it works sometimes. You don't, yes, most of the time in a woodland we're trying to get rid of all these highlights, so we shoot with a long lens and eye up, shooting down into the woodlands, etc. But sometimes changing all that and going beyond them rules, if you like, works. And I'm just hoping it works on this one. But it's the gnarliness of the of these trees. Let me try and show you. So if I bring you up, I'm shooting up at that, and it's all these gnarly branches. And obviously we could get a long lens on as well and shoot them, but I just love that. So that fog's lifted now. We've gone a little walk around. Martin's just taken an image that I actually took a similar one the other day. It's a very similar atmosphere and things like that. So I've come a walk down here, and that fog's lifted more into low cloud now. Still a nice little bit of atmosphere, but I think we'll get back to the office and we'll have a look at some of these images and see what our thoughts are on the TTartisan lens. So the price of the lens is £190, $190. So it's at the cheaper end. I think it could work quite well in some situations, especially street. I don't know what it'd be like for some night photography. That might work, but until we get back to the office and actually have a look at it and have a look at the images that I've taken, I wouldn't like to say. So let's get back there now and see what these images are like. Back in the office, I've loaded the images up into Lightroom, and we took, I don't know, 17 images. So let's go through them very quickly just to see what the quality is like at the different apertures, etc. Now don't forget, these are shot at roughly at about, the ISO was whacked up a little bit on some of these, so it's 500 ISO. But that doesn't really matter with the images. I've done a couple of test shots which look quite nice. I like the composition in that one. These are raw files, so non-edited raw files. And then we started to have a look at the apertures from picture number 3, image 3. So we'll zoom right in, and I know I've focused around this area here, and I quite like it. The depth of field is very narrow, which is fine because it's shot at f1.5. So that is absolutely fine, and it's got a nice soft effect. It's not super sharp at 1.2. It's certainly not super sharp, but almost, let's not call it an imperfection, but I like the character of the lens. I quite like that. So then we shot it at, I'll have to have a look back at the video actually, but I think it was at f5.6, could be wrong. So this is the next aperture. That's a lot sharper. That is a lot sharper. So it might have been a f4 actually, but that area is a lot sharper. I can see that so much better. So we've lost that little bit of softness. So I haven't moved the focal point on any of these images. All I've done is move the aperture. So this, I think, if I'm right again, was f8. So we're starting to get a lot more depth of field now. The depth of field is a fair few meters in. If you remember right, I was about 2 meters away from the foreground, and the foreground right up to, we've lost it right at the bottom now, so that would probably only be about a meter. Again, just what I expect it to be. Looks a nice shot. Very pleased with that. Then we go to the f11. Now we should start to get a lot more depth in the image at f11. It's still falling away, but there is detail there, and it's definitely soft in the corners. That's certain. Not so much, just losing it a little bit of it and a little bit of vignette. Like I say, I haven't processed these at all. And then the last one was at f16, which is the maximum of the lens at both ranges. So let's have a good look at this one. So we'll just scout through the image, and It's hard to say on this side because it's quite blown out, but it is soft. It's definitely soft, and it's a little bit soft in the corners. Have I got a problem with that? No, I haven't got a problem with that. I quite like it. I quite like it. I'm quite impressed. I'm actually shocked because I didn't expect it to be that good. Yes, that wide open aperture at 1.5, it's a little bit soft, but I think if you're creative with it, it'd work. So maybe knock it up to f2 and beyond, not a problem at all. We'll just have a look. We'll run through the other images. Again, I can't remember what this was shot at, probably f8 or f11, looking at it, but where it's sharp, it's nice detail there, so I like that. All right, what's sharp? We changed the composition there, again focusing on that branch area. That is nice and sharp. That's a beautiful image. And like I say, I didn't no intention of getting this background sharp at all. I would soften it in post anyway. So again, I assume I've changed the aperture on that. Obviously we're not because it's a manual lens, I'm not getting that detail up here, so the only thing difference is it's ISO 100. Again, another different sharp. Looking around there, super sharp where I want it to be. Fantastic. Really pleased with that, and I can't wait to actually get stuck in and edit. I'm probably thinking here, what am I thinking of, because I don't like the composition on this one. But it's about the lens. But again, it looks nice. Let's just have a look at the background. Again, it's probably shot at f8, I would have thought, just looking at that. This is a nicer composition. The only thing I would say about this, I mean, it's nice and sharp foreground. I just wish I'd have got a better depth of field for the background, to be honest, because it's a little bit too out of focus for me. But that's just, let's say, the photographer's error. Next shot, we're just looking at the really the composition, but I know I focus somewhere around here, and everything's fine there. Details exactly how I expect it to be. We've got good foreground detail as well. So again, that would have been shot at f11, and then we tried to get a bit creative and shoot up into the trees, just using that 21mm. Detail is all there. That is superb. Again, a bit blown out on that top left, but it's definitely, let's just up the shadows, see if the detail's there. The detail's there, but it's soft. Let's go right in. It's just lost a bit of detail there, right up in the corner. But you know what, I'm literally pixel peeping to the max. Let's go this bottom corner. Again, that's a little bit, it's just a little bit soft. Let's go pausing again. 4. It's small, compact, and it produces, or can produce, nice images. Surely that's what it's all about. It's got a screw thread adapter lens hood, so you can put polarizing filters on there, whatever, which is good. I like that. That all screws off as well. So let me just show you. That comes off completely. And then you've got a normal lens hood that slots over there like that. But I actually I think that's a real great idea actually. Like, and it's metal, as you can hear. Weight wise, against, it's a right lump. It's an absolute right lump. I don't know the weight of it, but like I say, it's as heavy as my 50 to 400, so it's a lump. Everything seems nice and smooth when you when you're moving the aperture ring, you can feel it notching across, so that's quite nice. The focus is really smooth, good detail on the lens itself to get all the information. So for a manual lens, 190 quid. I quite like it. I'd like to use it in street more. That'd be quite interesting to see how it performed in street and better light and things like that. But first impressions is I actually quite like it, and I didn't expect to like it, which is nice. I didn't expect to get the results that I've got now. Is really surprising. Something to consider. So I'd like to thank TTartisan for sending me this lens. Thank you so much. If you want me to try any more, send them over. But no, I'll put the details in the link below. It is just my opinion. I've been sent this free. I keep it. You can take that how you want. I do try and give an honest review. If I didn't like it, I would say I don't like it for this reason. But it works. What more can I say? It's like I say, it's a little bit sort of got that soft character to it. But you know, I quite like that. Sometimes the imperfections can make for a better image. It's a bit like, the way I can put it is like a classic car. It's them imperfections, it's how it drives that makes it something special, and I feel that this has got that to it, if that makes sense. And before you go, I will edit these images, and I will edit and video them, and I will put them up on my members area. If you're interested in joining my members area on YouTube, it's £1.99 a month, and I do editing things and release videos early, things like that. But us all things like that, so there's quite a lot of benefit, but it's more the editing side of things. And along those lines, in the future I'm going to do some critiques and things like that as well. So if the members send the work in, I'll critique it. And I might even start the Your Raw up, which I did sort of 2 seasons of, and I might just keep that to the members area, or do that first and then send it out to the rest of the community. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.